a Blue Yeti critical?
Yeah.
Nice.
My friend has one. It's a nice mic.
Yeah, I have the snowball.
Oh yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
You can't see it on camera, but it's right here. The one that I can't move, or else it unplugs. That's the one annoying thing about it. So, well, we are live, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're gonna wait for some people to get here in the stream, but today we're joined by the critical unbeliever, aka Mulatto Jesus, aka Jerry. How do you want me to address you, by the way?
You can just call me Jerry. It's fine.
Dang, okay. Mulatto Jesus sounds pretty cool, man. I feel like that's like that should be your new YouTube name. If you
Yeah, that would be sweet. I just don't want people to think that that's what they're gonna get. Like, because there's a Jesus Christ channel. I don't want them to think they're gonna show up and get like a, yo, what up, my brothers? Today we speak in peace of each other. Like every time someone shows up,
It sounds like some sort of like cult sort of thing. Like
well, you ever seen that Adult Swim show? I think it's like Black Jesus.
yeah, Black Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a funny ass show.
I do love that show. Like the whole first season is like they're just trying to grow a bunch of, or maybe it's the second season. They're just trying to grow a bunch of weed. That's just the forefront of the whole series. So right on. I'm into it.
I love shit like that. Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, man, thank you for joining us tonight. So for you guys that know, we're waiting for some of you to get in here inside the stream. But every week we have guests here, a new guest on our stream here. We're trying to do this every week for you guys. Anyone who also wants to be on the show, you can reach out to me on Twitter or anywhere you can find me. Snapchat. Some of you guys added me on Snapchat. Do any of you guys use Snapchat, by the way?
I have it, like using it though. I don't frequently use it.
Oh dang, okay. I'm making a conscious effort to actually use it and like post stories and stuff, and it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know, like some people have messaged me like, "Oh yeah, I like your stories and stuff." So, but yeah, today we're just going to be looking at some current events, some kind of interesting things here that have happened in the news recently. I guess we can go ahead and get started now. Oh, by the way, I did watch, for you guys that don't know, Critical Unbeliever here, or Jerry here, we made a stream together talking about movies and kind of like when kind of Black Panther was coming out. And I actually did end up watching Black Panther because it came out on Blu-ray. And I actually liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I didn't mind it so much. Again, like the criticisms I gave in the video, I think still stand. But it wasn't horrible. I actually only just saw it. I talked some more shit about it on another stream like 2 weeks ago, and I've seen it since. It's all right. It's like on par with any other Marvel movie. The escalation for what you would expect after 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I think overall, like I do a good job at, like, if there's like some kind of political leaning to a movie, I do my best at like watching it and like removing that from the movie and actually just trying to enjoy it from a movie and like look at some other themes that I do enjoy, which there was the theme in that movie, which I knew there was going to be about like the father and son dynamic. And then they threw in the dynamic of the Killmonger and the connection with him and his family, and they're actually like have a lineage and stuff, and that's how I was able to challenge the family. So like all that family dynamics and stuff, it's totally like kind of reminded me of Lion King a little bit, and then it reminded me also, which Lion King, that movie is basically that Shakespeare what is it?
Hamlet.
Hamlet, right? Hamlet. So it's like that classic, story, just a family, father, son, I'm going to kill you, I hate you kind of thing. And then the father trying to pass down, the lessons and everything to the son, which was Black Panther, the king to the new king and stuff. So yeah, I do a good job in just like enjoying a movie's good quality. So I really enjoyed that. So I liked the movie. And that's why when I saw The Last Jedi, I try to remove all the bullshit that I didn't like and just enjoy the stuff I did like with what the choices they made. and I still don't even. It's hard for me to even like that movie. So
That was a good movie. God.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess regardless of the message, I thought the Last Jedi was fucking garbage. If I'm
Oh my
honest, I thought it
god.
was garbage. There's like there's a viral video now of missed CGI recuts. So like just parts where they've taken things out and CGI'd other parts, or weapons out, hands in, body parts in, different parts of sets, and you can just see inside the movie that the development was the production was not handled that well.
yeah, well, I mean, I actually got the Blu-ray just to watch the documentary about how they made the movie, and it was pretty interesting about like there was so much pressure, like how when he started it, like everyone was like, is he gonna fuck? Is he gonna screw this movie up? Is he gonna screw this movie up? And it's safe to say that like regardless of my opinion, your opinion, no matter your opinion, there's definitely been a divide on how people have seen these movies. And that movie in particular, I might have a guest on one of these streams either next week or some upcoming week. I think his Twitter, his name, he followed me. I think he probably watched one of my videos and he followed me, and his name on Twitter is like After the Last Jedi or something like that. And he just posts like the Last Jedi stuff. And there's like, yeah, there's a growing community online that just don't like this movie, hate it. And Mark Hamill in particular, he's Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, he's been on Twitter trying to defend Rian Johnson because if you watch like before this movie come out, Mark Hamill was literally just, it's kind of like when when you're like, I guess when you get older, like you're like, old grandpa, old men, like you just don't give a fuck anymore. And he was just like saying like, oh yeah, I didn't like the script as soon as I got it, like just being brutally honest. And a lot of people like fed into that, and that's it's kind of his fault, I feel. I mean, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that kind of why this whole fiasco has started is because of him. I at least I would say so.
Yeah. He's because his comments were the first comments I read about the script too. So he's definitely like a major contributor to a lot of the preconceived notions of the film. Because a lot of people are going to criticize it based on their perception going into it, not so much on what content came out of the film. And it happens all the time. I watched a 15-minute review of the most recent Ghostbusters, and where I agreed with him that the film sucked, where we disagreed was the fact that I watched the movie and could tell you the scenes that sucked. He just perceived things about the film, went there and didn't pay much attention, and then it was over and he left. So when he was describing parts of the film, I was thinking like, I don't necessarily think that's what happened. And then you rewatch the scene, it's like, that's not even close to what happened. This dude just thinks that this movie sucks. So he's right, but what he thinks about it that sucks is incorrect. Like those parts don't even exist.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate, and that's kind of like how things are now. Like if I talk about something, I don't want to be like just the contrarian to like, oh, I want to. And some people do that. Like, yeah, they'll go in like hating a movie. Like if I'm gonna pay my hard-earned cash to watch something, I want to go in knowing it's good. And that's why like I'm not even a huge fan of like the Jurassic Park movies, but there's a new Jurassic Park coming out, and like all the YouTubers I watch that are like movie reviewers are watching it and saying that it's like it blows, it sucks. I'm like, yeah, I had some friends that like wanted to go watch it, and I'm like, yeah, you guys can watch that shit yourself. I don't feel like paying for that. So, and then if there's a movie I want to give a chance, like Black Panther, like I actually did like it, and I can remove like I'll never go into a movie like wanting to hate it. Like I get so many comments now too where it's like, oh, you want to hate this movie, or like, and that's kind of too with The Last Jedi more than any other movie. Like Rian Johnson, all the people online are like, oh, like all these man babies, all these like men who don't want to see women in films hate this movie. Oh my God. And it's like, okay, you guys keep telling yourselves that and continue to watch the box office just get lower and lower, because that's
such a weird thing to be like, because like most people go into movies wanting them to be good. They want to be entertained. That's why they're there. And to say like, oh, because you have a negative opinion, I believe that you have that negative opinion because you wanted to have a negative opinion. Like that's it's not necessarily a popular thing to come out and say, hey, this Star Wars movie sucked. People like Star Wars quite a bit. It's
Yeah,
not like you're gonna be the hottest kid in class showing up being like, Luke Skywalker's a pussy now. You know, what I mean? People are gonna be cool with that. So it's you see the same thing with like The Incredibles 2, specifically Adam from Your Movie Sucks. He straight up said like he didn't like the film. He thought it was trash. He thought your movie sucks. And people their complaint to him was that he was just trying to be negative. He was trying to be a negative Nancy or a contrarian. It's like he gave what 10-15 minutes of arguments for why he thinks these particular things sucked, what he thought about it sucked. Like it's not like he just went in there and was like, you know what? I expected Star Wars to be more battles with Darth Maul, and I didn't get a single one, so this movie's a 0 out of 50. He actually can explain like what shots are bad, what parts of the movie didn't move the plot.
yeah,
Just because I think the thing that you like sucks doesn't mean that I went in there to think it sucks. If I paid money for it, it's because I wanted it to be good.
right. And you know, movies now, like there's some movies that I love that people don't like I mean, I guess I can't think of any right now, but there's there's some movies everyone is allowed to have an opinion, and you know, no one should be like forced to have an opinion. And nowadays, with like kind of like social media and like the nerd cultures and the mainstream, like you know, you see those people who they don't have no idea what Star Wars is. They have no idea what like the old movies are, and then I hear like, oh, I love Star Wars, and the new stuff is it's all about girl power, and you don't like it, like you're just a fucking sexist. And it's like, no, like I want to like that. I want to like those movies. I went and saw Han Solo, and it was an okay movie. Han Solo was an okay movie, and I don't know what they're doing there, but you know, I guess whatever.
I
Star
can't
Wars.
wait for the Boba Fett movie. That movie's gonna be.
I don't know if they're gonna make that.
Yeah, they just canceled the Obi-Wan movie for sure. So
What? No.
within the last week they canceled the Obi-Wan movie.
That
So
actually had potential.
See,
you gotta think Han Solo probably killed a little bit of that universe with its
Are
box
they
office.
still gonna do the
rating.
Yoda spin-off?
I think that's canceled too, which is a good thing. I feel like a
Oh.
lot of these things, less is more, and and as evidence that they were trying to milk this, there was actually a recently canceled. There was going to be a movie all based around Mos Eisley, like the bar, like the Mos Eisley in
No,
Tatooine.
you can't make a movie out of that.
For an hour and a half.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, how are you going to make a whole movie out of that? Like, you guys clearly just want to milk nostalgia, and that's what I feared in the beginning, and now it's happening. So I don't feel bad. Whatever. Like,
Well, and George Lucas made that Cantina suck with his CGI re-edit. Anyways, there's a like 5-minute fucking song from the weird headless the ball alien lady with the long mouth, and more people have that stuck in their head than they do the original Cantina song like scene now. So it's like not even cool. Plus, it's the most controversial Han shot first like moment. It's just to hear that idea existed makes me like it confirms my belief that Star Wars is shit now. As somebody who has a Star Wars tattoo and used to be a big Star Wars fan, it just confirms my belief that it is all shit now. It's only going to get worse.
well, yeah, I tend to have hope. I was thinking about this other day. It's like, man, Star Wars fans, like, we're so picky, and like every generation has their gripes. Like I remember like when everyone hated the prequels, and now people are going back and saying they like the prequels because now someone else besides George Lucas is making these movies. And it's like, oh man. And like I said, I try to enjoy. I actually liked The Force Awakens for what it was, and hopefully, like, I have hope. Hopefully J.J. Abrams can come up and wrap the trilogy. But the problem with Star Wars is just that they were gonna do that what I thought they were gonna do, which is kind of nonchalantly, yeah, let's make Star Wars movies, and no matter what, they're gonna make $1 billion because it's Star Wars. And it's like, what, like, that's so shitty for you to treat the brand that way, because now, you know, that's why less and less, like, it used to be like a thing, like, oh, like a new Star Wars movie's out, like we gotta go watch it, we gotta go wait in line. And now like the new ones come out and it's like, yeah, no one's going to watch that, you know. No
Well,
one's going.
like one of the things that I think we kind of get, I guess, a retrospective, like, you know, hindsight's 2020 when we look at the George Lucas prequels. But if you actually hear what he had planned for the movie, what his seventh, eighth, ninth movies were going to be, it's like this dive into the super race of aliens that exists within the universe, and they have like they experience all of time, and both their beginning and end all at the same time. Their whole lives are constantly being played for them at the same. Like, it's a long, convoluted, almost Star Trek style universe that sounds significantly worse than any of the things that we've got from Star Wars. It sounds worse than even a Yoda movie, or even Yoda in like a Attack of the Clones doing the spinny lightsaber battle. So at least George Lucas doesn't have the property to make it what he wanted it to be, because I almost assure you, none of the movies would make money. It wouldn't just be that Han Solo bombed and the other ones made money. It would be that Star Wars is garbage now.
But at least the argument a lot of people will have, in kind of playing devil's advocate, people will say, at least it was original. The problem with the new movies is that they're just kind of banking on nostalgia. Like Han Solo was just all callback. Like, I talked about it before, like that movie was just them, like they gave an origin to how Han Solo got Solo in his name.
Yeah.
And it's so
Oh,
bad.
that ruined it for me. I don't even know if I could watch the movie after learning that. That's just really heartbreaking. I'm serious though. Like, that was not necessary. I mean, I haven't seen a movie, but like when I do watch it, I think I might still end up watching it just because I'm curious. Whatever.
It'll probably be on Netflix soon.
Yeah, yeah. But what I'm saying is that that could have just been part of the story that like they didn't need explaining. I mean, that's just his name, Han Solo. Do we now need an explanation for why what's her name? Padme named them Luke and Leia. Oh, because Luke is a Bible, or I don't know. I don't think Christianity exists in Star Wars, but you know, some stupid explanation like that.
Yeah.
Right. Do we find out that Anakin's dad was only called Skywalker because he is a really sick moonwalk dancer? He's the Tatooine version of Michael Jackson. So they got like, that's his nickname. It's like Iggy Stardust.
I can't wait. I can't wait until they make a movie about blue milk. That needs explaining.
Yeah.
Blue sea walrus milk, space walrus milk.
We can probably go on about this for a long time, but I wanted to get into some of the videos I wanted to watch. So, Space Force. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on this after we watched this.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Yeah, speaking of Star Wars, we're gonna have freaking spaceships flying around soon.
When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space.
Hey.
For the first time in 71 years, the American Armed Services will gain a new branch, the Space Force. America's destiny beyond the Earth is both a matter of national identity and national security, Trump said. So he's directing the Department of Defense and the Pentagon to establish the Space Force as the sixth military branch. The announcement wasn't expected at Monday's National Space Council meeting, and so far details are scant. But the idea of a Space Force has been kicking around for a while. Last year, during annual defense policy bill discussions, the House Armed Services Committee tried to establish a Space Corps within the Air Force. But Air Force chiefs and other leaders strongly opposed the move, saying it would be premature and adds unnecessary layers of bureaucracy. Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis said as much in an October letter to the House and Senate Armed Services Committees. But clearly the Trump administration is powering ahead on this and other space matters. Also on Monday, in an expected move, Trump signed a directive changing space traffic management policy concerning issues like monitoring objects in orbit and limiting debris in space. The directive switches the responsibility for providing space safety data and services, including sending warnings of collision risk to satellite operators, to the Commerce Department, instead of the Defense Department. And looking ahead to the rest of Trump's space plans, he said the administration will embrace the budding commercial space industry and work to modernize regulations.
But our destiny beyond the Earth is not only a matter of national identity, but a matter of national security. So important for our military.
So I have like mixed feelings about this. For one, you know, this could just be some sort of distraction from the whole ICE
YouTube
thing that's going on right now.
Go ahead, sorry.
Can you hear me? No,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that I have mixed feelings about this. So for one, this could just be a distraction for the whole what's going on with ICE right now. But regardless, though, I'm not gonna lie, I'm somewhat excited about this. Having space debris, you know, around the Earth is actually a really big problem, and it's definitely a big obstacle for a lot of for NASA and of course a lot of private space companies like SpaceX and whatnot, because it's making it harder to send you know, spacecraft out there because they could possibly be, you know, destroyed or damaged by any space debris that's still out there. And there's a lot of space debris that a lot of people aren't really aware of.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, I mean, I just think it's, I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and we're talking about conspiracy theories before the stream on the pre-stream. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theorists out there, and a lot of them, you know, like the flat Earth people, and they basically like hate NASA and like think NASA is like this, you know, group that just swindles money out of the American government and everything's a setup. And their argument is kind of like, oh, like we spend so much money and we've never been back to we've never been back to the moon and stuff. And like they talk about how like, yeah, NASA's always needing money for new things. And even Reagan back in the day, you know, was talking back in the 80s about how, you know, we're going to have a space, you know, thing, and everything was exciting. So it kind of reminds me, and then nothing came of it. And then now Trump is doing the same thing. Let's see if something's actually going to come of it. But
in 2012, the Army actually established something called like space strategy specialists or something like that. The Air Force has a number of like what you would like maybe remedial versions of a quote unquote Space Corps. It's not necessarily like from fear from something outside of space. I used to work on the Air Force Base out sort of near where I live, Beale Air Force Base, and that's actually what used to house the SR-71 now houses like the U-2 and like the what's it called, Lady Dragon? No, wait, that's the U-2. One of the stratosphere drones and also a strato tanker. So where I worked around and with a lot of people that are pretty knowledgeable in the concept of stratosphere defense, essentially making sure that things just in the stratosphere can't be planes in the stratosphere can't be used as weapons. And there's a partial fear that someone like Russia, someone like China would establish a space base similar to what we have the ISS, and use that in order to, you know, bomb strategic locations and things like that. So the Army's been poking around, not even necessarily poking around. They have been preparing to do like a defense via some type of space type of base, some type of space station, something similar to that. And it's not far-fetched to say that because it's the Air Force and the Army working in conjunction together, that they would take these two ops and merge them together into one core. The problem with that is that the Congress has said before they don't want a new core. They would rather have a specialization force similar to like the Navy SEALs. So you could test into it from any branch rather than enlisting into it directly, which every branch you enlist directly into rather than testing into, right? You test into the Navy SEALs, but you enlist into the Navy. So establishing the Space Force as just a branch means that's another 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 troops, right? And housing for each of them, bases for each of them, ops for all of them. rather than a specialization force that could easily just be 5,000 troops all around, all together. That includes, you know, every tech guy, every IT guy, every guy that lays cable, and every guy that cooks meals. But the actual idea isn't so far-fetched. I think if you look at like the way the public responds to someone like Donald Trump saying Space Force, it comes off almost as a joke, as opposed to hearing a collective group of government officials say we need a Space Corps and as a form of defense.
So wait, I have a question though. So do you think like they're just gonna basically be using like already existing space related programs in the Army, Air Force, etc., and just like slap a name on it?
That is essentially what the Donald Trump request is. That's why Congress hasn't moved on it, and the Pentagon has been kind of complaining about it also. Essentially, he would like the current resources to be conjoined into one actual branch. Congress, the Pentagon, and originally the Obama administration wanted it to be, you know, a specialized task force, people that were already at a certain rank that decided to test into this advanced program. Which that's probably better for logistics. Like logistically speaking, it's probably better to say this is this conjoined group you test into, rather than here's the entire new branch that gets facilitated from the ground up.
Wow. Yeah. You went pretty balls deep into that.
well, actually, this topic is it's one of those things where, you know, I've been fairly obvious that I'm not like a Trump supporter. You know, I'm not really into the general politics. I think the last like 30 years have sucked, right? But
sure,
certain moves like that are forward thinking and sort of kind of what I've been like trying to defend is the idea that there are other issues besides just, yeah, ICE is a big issue or whatever, but if the whole government is paying attention to just immigration issues, we're going to have a bigger issue in 15 years that we hadn't prepared for.
No, I mean, I was really excited when I think like it was last year they announced that like basically they're going to do like another moon mission, or like they're going to fly around the moon or something like that.
See, that's the problem. They've been they've been saying that they've been wanting to do that for like years, and then they never do it. And I think the last actual moon mission was 1973.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we don't do like contact walks anymore either. So,
so what do you guys think about that? Because me and so I was talking to Classy here about the moon landing conspiracy and how he wanted to make some videos debunking it because there's a huge movement. I mean, the flat Earth movement is growing a lot too, and it all goes back to like not believing NASA, and it does kind of branch and stem from like the moon landing conspiracy. And I've been like, like I said, I've talked about it on a previous stream here where there was this flat earther I was trying to get on the show to like talk about this, but like it's like a freaking growing movement, conventions, people are making a living off of it now because they're trying to spread the truth, and they sell t-shirts and, you know, koozies and little things with like something flat earth in their logo, like, you know, exposing the truth and free thinking.
There's a flat earth compound not too far from where I live. It's hilarious.
No way. Oh, I gotta go to Sacramento one day.
It's a big like 200-acre little camping spot that they use. Got a little like what are the cabin on it. It's pretty cool.
I assume the land is pretty flat.
Nah, it's in the hills. It's in the foothills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got members all over the globe.
Yeah, all around the globe.
Yeah, it's like it's become a meme now where it's like, yeah, if the Earth isn't flat, why do I, you know, like someone laying down, and then if it's supposed to be round, like they're back.
Oh, that meme. Let me see.
If the Earth isn't flat, how come shoes are like this and not like this?
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
That's when you know you lost. It's like, yeah, it's basically a meme. Like people make fun of you, but I do like a lot of them do believe, like with the moon landing conspiracy. I was talking to Classy, like, you know, like why do people believe in that? Like it's ridiculous. It's not really ridiculous. There's actually like I kind of like enjoy like conspiracy theories, like just for the fun of it. Like, not that I actually believe in a lot of. I don't believe in any of them, to be honest. But I just think it's fun, and like you can see why there's like, you know, and there's like growing groups of people with like who believe in conspiracy theories, especially with like, you know, that's why I made the InfoWars video, and a whole bunch of people downvoted it on my channel, because now all these people who watch InfoWars, they believe everything is a conspiracy. They believe everything's a false flag. It's so annoying. And, you know, they're all these people, like, they want to be special. It's like, oh, we want to find out the truth, right? But the moon landing one is probably one of the most compelling one. There is this guy who like wrote this book, or no, he released this documentary. You can watch it for free on YouTube. That it shows like footage of the NASA guys, or like the people who did like the moon missions and stuff, making footage.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, it's just your audio sounding like really bad right now. It sounds like you're not using your
Can you hear me?
No, like I can hear you. Okay, now that sounds better. Like for a while, it sounded like webcam.
It's hard to tell whose audio that is.
Yeah, I'll look at the screen here because there was some feedback. I didn't know who it was. I usually just wait for it to go away, and it goes away after a couple seconds. So, but yeah, like it's pretty compelling. The documentary shows like the moon, the guys who went on the moon missions, which they're making a movie about now. So there's probably going to be like, and like Ryan Gosling's like, you know, or what's his name, Neil Armstrong or something. I don't know. But yeah, in that documentary, it does show like this unreleased footage of like them like basically trying to like fool, like they're like, it's like leaked audio of them like talking like, oh yeah, we got to put the camera to look like this, to make it look like this. And like there is a huge thing about it. And you know, I don't think, obviously I don't believe in it, obviously, but I can understand why they have, like, out of all of the conspiracy theories, that one's a pretty compelling one.
That means I'm gonna have to make a part 2 to that, because right now I'm just working on debunking the whole the Van Alien belts and some other thing about the pictures, how they're supposed to be fake. But now that you're including that, I'm gonna have to like make a
I'll send you, if you're bored, you know, you can, like I said, it's a free documentary on YouTube.
Sure.
It was released on TV like in the 90s or something, and no one like takes it like too serious, but I think it's just a very there's also like a really interesting let me see if I can play it. Let me see here. Like there's a weird thing that Lance Armstrong says, not Lance Armstrong, the fucking biker, Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong punched the dude out for asking him. He came up to him asking him about did you fake the moon landing? And Neil Armstrong fucking punched that dude in the face.
Yeah,
badass.
It was Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
Oh, Buzz Aldrin. Yeah. Astronauts, man. That was like 92, maybe a little bit before, somewhere around the late 80s, early 90s.
He's a pretty old guy now, Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, like the guy came up and was like, you can probably, you can watch on YouTube where like the guy came up to him and was like I know you're a faker, you're bullshit and whatever, and like something about his wife, and he got like really personal. So then Buzz Aldrin just fucking punched him in the face.
You should go to California, look up High Emptying Reels, and I don't know, ask him to do some sort of MMA style stuff, or just joking.
I'm probably like 100 pounds over that guy, man.
Yeah, no, just joking.
It wouldn't be a fun time for him.
No.
But shit, it was in 2002. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What's up? What was 2002?
What Buzz Aldrin punches that dude in the face in 2002.
Oh, okay.
So he was old as fuck when he did it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he
was like 75.
Yeah, he's
punched the fucking mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. The guy just had no qualms, and like I said, these old dudes just don't give a fuck anymore. He's just like, fuck, like just fucking punched him. But here's a speech that Neil Armstrong had before he passed away. I think it was sometime in the 90s. It's kind of weird. It's taken from that documentary. I think I'll play it real quick. I think you guys can see it.
On the 25th anniversary of the event in 1994, Neil Armstrong made a rare public appearance and held back tears as he spoke these brief cryptic remarks before the next generation of taxpayers as they toured the White House.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
He is.
The fuck is that, dude?
I don't know if I'm supposed to find something cryptic in it or not. It sounded
what
just.
was so cryptic? I mean, you could just say that he was unprepared to make the speech, and he was just starting over his words. He didn't know.
No, he didn't stutter. He said, he said, basically he's talking to like students who are there, who are like, you know, young kids wanting to be part of the space program, and he's like, there's undiscovered truths that you can find if you're able to get through all these layers of truth or something, or what's the exact way? I just stumbled on myself, but it's kind of like a weird.
Yeah, but like, bro, like that's so vague. That could mean so many things. Like he's trying to say, oh, there's so many things about space that we don't understand. Like, you know, like
well, he said like
it sounds to me more like a generic commencement speech as opposed to you know, some cryptic outing that he potentially was involved in some type of deep fake. It would really take a lot more. I don't know. It doesn't even sound that cryptic. It sounds pretty just blatant. Like there's things that you'll find out, like if you can get through red tape and through things that people prevent you from finding out.
Well, this is what he said. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
well, it just means you have to work hard. You have to explore. You have to.
What is truth's protective layers? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, it could mean anything, but that sort of vagueness is what lends itself to a conspiratorial quote for people to say it is something cryptic because it is so vague. But if you take it in the context of a commencement speech, it's probably to him an adage or an idiom, something, you know, some type of metaphorical speak for which he's doing. If you take it at its full context, it doesn't sound to me like he's trying to be like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, homie. Yeah, you know.
I know. I like that. I like.
You can see the mindset of the person looking for the conspiracy. They find something that already sort of fits, where he says not necessarily something is true. Something can be perceived as true, and for the person that's on watch for that shit, they pop up. Hell yeah, homeboy just said rainbows can actually rape you. Got him.
Yeah. So I think that like you're saying, it's just people trying to find a conspiracy. Like I just like to have fun, you know. I recommend you guys watch that documentary. It is pretty interesting. Like the things, like it's just so weird. Like JFK is another big one too, where like that's one I think I can say like I think there is something fishy behind the scenes there, and we don't know about it because, you know, it was a time before the internet, time of, you know, like nowadays, like nothing is hidden nowadays.
But didn't they already release the documents or no?
Released documents from the JFK assassination include a number of redacted pages.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So that's another big one that people get into, and there's like, you know, so many like weird quotes and shit, and I don't know. That's another one. Like you don't want to automatically dismiss people like, oh yeah, I believe in this and whatever. I actually looked into it, and like I said, I can see why some people believe in this. So,
well, like I think I've had my run-ins with that conspiracy myself. I have a hard time, like pinning down what I would call like what I believe in that situation. Reading through, it seems a lot like Lyndon Johnson had a lot of he stood to gain a lot financially by with the death of JFK. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, so I won't drag on about this, but JFK didn't want to go to war with Vietnam, and in not going to war with Vietnam meant that he wasn't buying helicopters from a helicopter broker. Well, that broker was Lyndon Johnson's wife. So at the time that JFK died and Nixon took over, Lyndon Johnson then convinces Nixon to not just go into Vietnam, but to buy his wife's helicopters, which essentially made them unbelievably rich for the rest of their life, and their estate is perfectly settled forever. And it was a big financial gain for him, something that he'd been trying to do for a number of years. I mean, things like that make motives, right, seem different. I can't jump on board with saying that somebody else shot JFK. You could definitely, I mean, that from what we can see, even in like the Zapruder film.
Well, yeah, there's a Zapruder film, like, was, released like what? Like they came out in the 90s, right? Or like or something. It came out like years later. That's a weird footage. People have analyzed it to death. It kind of doesn't make sense still, to be honest. And then they recovered the bullet that they said went through JFK, and it's a perfectly like clean bullet. Like it doesn't look like a bullet that's passed through a human being and like hit bone and flesh
and tumbled, and the magic bullet. But that's the thing, is I have a hard time believing the separate shooter thing, just because doing ballistics and a lot of the tests that we do on items 50 years later leaves itself open for skepticism. But if we just take Lee Harvey Oswald, if we just say, like, from what we know, Lee Harvey Oswald did the shooting, you can actually draw direct ties to a number of people that, I mean, only benefited from the death of JFK. It's a tough one.
There's the, what's it called? Did you ever see too, the one that freaks me the fuck out is the one where they have the calculations of all the witnesses who were there that day, and that all the people that were there that day during that shooting, at the assassination, who are like on the in the grass or in the fields or whatever on the street, all of them like died within the next 10 years, like in crazy accidents. Like one person fell off a ladder, another person, their brakes were like cut from their car, like some weird, like, what does that happen? Like that's some like gangster Scarface shit right there. And then they had a calculation that like
I think this internet
router.
Yeah. Okay, guys, just give us like a minute or two. He's just trying to resettle his internet. He's trying to reset his router, so
whoops.
Technical difficulties. Sorry.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, right on.
Cool.
What was the last thing I heard? You had me here.
Dead witnesses. JFK's dead witnesses.
So yeah, the witnesses were like a gajillion to like 1 probability that they were gonna die within that 10 years. It's pretty freaky, man. It's almost like some Final Destination shit. Like it's weird. So,
that book, by the way, is called JFK: The Dead Witnesses by Craig Roberts. That's a killer book right there.
Oh wow, yeah, I've never looked into the book. I've just watched fucking all these YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. I'll just get, smoke some wacky tobacco, as they call, and then just get deep in conspiracies, to be honest.
Never heard of it.
Man, I can go on about conspiracies. Like I said, I've been trying to get this flat earth. I haven't been trying anymore, but it'd be cool if we can get a flat earther on here and have like a little debate and stuff, because that is kind of like the hot conspiracy right now at the moment. And
I actually know someone in my personal life that believes in the whole fake moon landing conspiracy. I don't know if she'll be willing to come on.
Oh yeah,
but she's like really into it.
Okay.
And she actually made a presentation about it in her class. It was pretty sad because the whole class kind of laughed at her.
Hell yeah.
But like, I think she still got an A because it was just like a public speaking class.
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. I did a 10-minute PowerPoint presentation one time about Ancient Aliens. It was baller. Nobody liked it. Everybody was like damn, Jerry, what the fuck? And I was like, guys, I'm 14. I smoke a lot of weed. Nothing that ever happened is real. Aliens, man. Aliens.
Yeah. It's like that. You see the Prometheus movie, right? You've seen that?
Yeah.
That's like, that's some weird, freaky shit too, where it's like some advanced species that like disintegrates their DNA, and then that's like the cause of all humans. Like that's the ancient. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is what ancient aliens is. Now I understand.
Right. Well, I used to really be into that shit quite a bit. Like I read like a lot of Zechariah Sitchin, Eric von Daniken. Obviously, they're like the staples of like ancient alien mythos, if you will. But I read a lot of those books. I was pretty deep into that for a minute. Yeah, it's people believe in wrong things a lot, so right. it's whatever.
Yeah, but I used to be into that as well.
Hey, man, it was convincing as fuck whenever you're young.
I don't know if I told this. I think I told the story on here. I think I did already, but really quick. I saw this like 9/11 documentary back in the day when I was like in middle school, and I got really into like 9/11 one time as well. You ever seen that documentary, Loose Change?
Yeah, Loose Change. Fuck.
Yeah. I saw that and was like convinced, and I was showing like my mom and like it's like other adults, and they were like, no, like
that's like what people would come up with like zeitgeist on a burned CD and be like, bro, let me tell you about the Illuminati.
I just think like, I don't know, it's fun, bro. It's just like, I don't know. There's so much the shit out there, and I don't know what's up. But yeah, conspiracies. See if you can get that friend on, Classy. I mean, what tell that. Yeah, I'd be interested in talking to her, because yeah, that is something. Coincidentally, I'm talking about how I can see why they believe that, and kind of sympathize with them, and like see why that's like there's like a lot of people who believe that. Yeah, we didn't. There's also a very interesting quote. Bill Clinton in his autobiography says that he was one time, like, before he was into politics, he was like a young man, 20s or 30s or something, and he said he like met up with this guy who used to work for the government or something, and he was talking to him, and he said like, oh yeah, like something talking about the moon with the guy, and then the guy, who's significantly older than him, said, oh, I don't believe we went to the moon. Like with that Hollywood stuff, they can make anything they want, or something to that effect. And then Bill Clinton was like, and then he said, and then in the book he's like, yeah, I didn't think much of it, but he said after so many years in the White House, I started to maybe really think about what he was saying, or something like that. It's a really freaky quote, and I know, like, Classy, you kind of sighed when you heard this, but there is like it's just weird quotes. Like, it's just weird shit where it's like, you're not even trying to believe in it, but I want to disprove it. But then you see some weird shit like that. It's like, what is he talking about?
Well, I mean, I've said some pretty weird stuff on Twitter. I'm pretty sure some guy can, like, examine my videos and find out that I'm the secret leader of the Illuminati. And I'm not fully conscious of it. My friend Osvaldo tells me that I'm not supposed to be aware of it, but like at some point I will learn the truth, and then that's when everything's going to change.
Speaking of the Illuminati, did you guys see that video? I don't think it's on YouTube anymore, but it's like the YouTube videos of like showing how like Lil Wayne music videos and like these rap music videos were like showing how they were part of the Illuminati, because like
do this all the time.
What is it?
They're the Illuminati because they do this all the time.
Yeah, or like they're always like on the album cover and they're like this or something, or like always showing their one eye, and then like they would show also like Taco Bell logo, and the Taco Bell logo is like an eye, like it's supposed to look like an eye or something. So yeah, it's
those are fun. A lot of those are like just the power of suggestion, because here's an example. My fiance was watching a Shane Dawson video recently, and I don't remember necessarily what it was. Something spooky, haunted, bad, scary. And they got out like a laser thermometer and pointed it somewhere, and the temperature read 66.6 degrees, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, how creepy! It's 666." But it's because they already previously associate that number with something, that when the mundane temperature of 66 degrees comes up on their thermometer, they've associated that with like, okay, well, I'm here doing something scary. That number is Satan. This is telling me something scary is over there. And it's just the direct power of suggestion. It's nobody even has to tell you something. If you already believe in some instances that masonry symbolism is permeant throughout the world, you're going to find things that may or may not be Mason symbols and instantly be like, that's a Mason symbol. I knew it.
Yeah. It's like why like people don't put like the 13th floor in buildings and stuff. Even though there's an actual 13th floor, they call it the 14th floor.
So they name it something different.
Yeah, they just somehow change it.
There's a hotel in Romania that skipped that made that floor, and you just skip it. You don't go to it. They're like super superstitious. You have to take your socks off. There's a cat in every room. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of weird shit, since you live in California, do you know that hotel? I think it's in Los Angeles. That hotel where that there's like this Asian girl who was like a university student. She went to this famous hotel that's supposed to be haunted, and she like visited there. And there's like footage. Basically, she ended up dead in the water tank on the roof, and like she disappeared. No one knew where she was, and was only when residents were complaining that their water, like on their faucet and showers and stuff, were smelling really weird and foul, that they actually went and checked the water tank. And she was like, basically they found her in the water tank on the roof, and it was shut in a way that like if she couldn't have done that by herself. And
I've heard of that. Yeah, that's a pretty famous.
You saw that one? And then there's the only thing they have, like it's still like unsolved, where there's only like interesting, or there's like a video footage or security footage. Obviously in the hotel they have security cameras, and she's basically on her floor, and she's like going inside and outside of the elevator, and it looks like she's like looking at something, like something that the camera's not seeing. You seen?
I did hear, but I didn't initially recall it. But now that I've Googled it and I see it, I do recall this.
I've seen lots of videos on that. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie, that's actually really interesting. It definitely raised my eyebrow a bit. And
yeah, like that's the weird stuff. Like I'm kind of like it's like what the fuck is that, dude? Like what is her name is Elisa Lam, and I won't watch the video here because I'll probably get striked for it. But there's like you got to be careful with some stuff you put here. But yeah, it's really weird, and like I said, it's still like undiscovered, and like she basically I think it's like officially like a suicide, but there's no way she could have done that. Like she couldn't have opened the water tank by herself. It's so weird.
Yes, there's suggestion that she was high on ecstasy and just got high and climbed in there.
See, and like that's probably a more reasonable
I mean, that would be a fucking killer ass way to die. Like drowning on ecstasy is probably fun as fuck. Not that I'm gonna try it.
So man, that sounds like a really bad trip.
It might be.
Drowning, I think, is probably one of the worst ways to die.
I think they say yeah, it registers the highest physical pain, even as opposed to burning.
Really?
Yeah, the oxygen the oxygen in your blood also begins to be seeped out of you quickly. So it's like a lot of aches in your skin, inside of your arms and legs and chest and stomach.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I wrote a song. I didn't write a song. My band wrote a song about it a while ago called "Drowning Pains," and it was like about similar to like getting the bends.
Fuck.
Like you start bubbling up on the inside.
Yeah, like I've seen like if you go to bestgore.com, they have like footage of people like dead, like car accidents, falling off a building, whatever, like the aftermath. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like a sick fuck, and I go and see that stuff, and then there's like ones of people who are drowned, and they look like inflated. Like they look like they look like the remember the girl from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, where they kind of look like her.
Yeah. Especially bodies being in water for a long time, they get bloat real bad.
Yeah, super bloated, right?
The crime scene investigators will pop you before they pull you out of the water, because like you'll be bloated. If they go to grab you, you might split and in half, right? So what they'll do is they'll take a long stick and they'll poke one of the engorged places. That'll spill out the gases that develop in your body and a lot of the gnarliness, and then they'll pull you out.
Jeez.
Oh, you're welcome. Welcome, yeah. Revenge of the Dreamers audience.
Exactly. But yeah, let's look into this new video here. We have some things here. I'm enjoying the conversation, which is good, but sometimes we get a little off topic, but I like that.
Can I point out something very quick?
Yeah, what's up?
That shirt you're wearing, is that like Arthur's fist? In the scene, you not to touch it.
What's up?
That's like the scene where he says, like, I told you not to touch it.
What's the meme? It's like the meme from like LeBron made it pretty popular with the fist and everything. Like it says current mood on the bottom. So yeah.
Look at this chick right now. She's all fuck-eyed.
So yeah, I just want to get your guys' instant reaction to this video.
I think Satan is what I think.
Satan.
Republican in the House. I want to share what some attendees at President Trump's rally had to say last night.
When a person goes, robs a bank, he's separated from his family anyway. Same as the people coming in this country. I'm an immigrant myself. I came here in 2000, and when we immigrated, we came here legally.
Our family means a lot to us, so we have to do it. I see you getting emotional. Why is that?
Because he tries so hard, and so many people are so down on him.
My God, won't someone please care for the children? Well, if children, if I get arrested, my kids aren't going to see me for a while either.
What in the world are they talking about? When these people are crossing.
I like that lady. I like how she's so choked up. Like, nobody should ever like a politician, a president, a political leader that much of any standard, right? Like there was a 20-year-old girl that graduated from college and met Barack Obama and was like almost pissed herself. She was sobbing so hard. Nobody should ever like a politician that much. But that old lady is the most precious woman ever. He just tried so hard. Your mom barely likes you as much as she likes Donald Trump, only slightly.
Jeez, yeah, it was a little overkill. So I just wanted to get you guys' reaction to that, and like this whole immigration thing, man. I would say, you know, as someone who is an immigrant to America, the conversation has, I mean, it's been pretty crazy now. Like with this whole, which kind of pissed me off, like how they, the Time magazine had that little girl on the front of the magazine or whatever. They're kind of using her picture as like the poster child of families being separated. And then Trump even signed the document or whatever that families won't be separated anymore. And there's so much hysteria behind it. What's your guys' kind of like feelings and like just thoughts about what's going
on? Me personally, I have like mixed opinions. I think obviously like in the case of deportation, whenever you arrest somebody to deport them, probably mixed detention works the best if your intent is to deport them immediately. Unfortunately, ICE is so like overwhelmed with the number of assorted immigrants it has, not necessarily just Latin American immigrants, but immigrants from around the world. Last time I was in jail, there was a couple of Nigerian guys and a couple of Russian guys that were all fitted to be deported that have been in detention for close to 18 months because A, they have too many people to get everybody sorted out quickly, and B, they don't have enough people going to exactly where those people are going. So you get, if nobody is going back to Honduras, the 20 people that get picked up from Honduras are just going to stay in ICE detention until they get enough people that they need to send back to Honduras. So it's like max capacity in a lot of these places. But at the same time, if your intent is to get rid of somebody immediately, we pick them up at the border, right? Blood test them, fingerprint them, and send them the fuck back. You probably want to do mixed detention, just so everybody's processed and move the fuck out faster. Right. And not to say that you should do that, but to say if that's your process, right, to get people out faster, you should probably do them all together. Personally, I think there's an opportunity to find the skilled workers and the people that would necessarily qualify to become citizens and draw them out from all of it and give them an expedited way to become citizens. So the family that was coming, they're like, we're Masons, or, you know, I went to school for this, or I have this profession, I have this skill, I was going to go do this. Those people get caught and just get deported when they could essentially be the valuable asset. But we don't necessarily make it easy to become a official citizen. Like, you could talk to a lot of, well, in my immediate surroundings, you talk to a lot of Russians that spend 2-3 years trying to become citizens. And sometimes within that time, it's really hard to find work. And those guys end up working at like chop shops and stuff like that. Right. Doing like illegal shit just so that they can stick around long enough to eventually go to, you know, community college or become firefighters or whatever it is they want to do in their professional life. They have this like string of not so great shit. So it's just a mix of things. The way that we've maybe been doing immigration for like 60 years probably could be updated. What are those updates? Who fucking knows?
Yeah, I definitely hear you, man. And I would actually have a lot of, I would say, maybe kind of liberal views now on when it comes to immigration. Not where I want open borders, but like, you know, you have a lot of these people where it's like, you know, send them back. Like, we got to send them all back. Let's get these illegals out of here, boys. You know, it's like, it's kind of like a black and white thing. And it's not a black and white thing. You know, obviously, like Trump, every side is so politicized. Like now, you know, like they're showing like all over social media, you're seeing like the pictures of kids in cages when, you know, Obama was doing the same thing. No one was talking about it then, but now it's Trump. People are talking about it. Just saying.
Well, the media did the same thing with migrant kids in Europe when that one little kid washed up on the beach. The kid in the red shirt and the blue jean shorts.
Yeah.
There's a dramatic picture of him. The media did the same thing with that kid too. That's like, you know, that's a common tool of the media. It's not something unique to Donald Trump. It's just one of the things he'll have to deal with. But it's so slimy. It's just so slimy.
Yeah, it's really dishonest because that little girl, it's like, yeah, she has the perfect like little sympathizing crying face that everyone's looking at and like, oh my God, like pulls your heartstrings. And then like she actually wasn't even separated from her family. And also what a lot of people don't know too is that like people will get kids, will like rent kids, say it's their cousin, niece, nephew, whatever, just to get across the border. So, you know, people don't understand this stuff. It's not just like kind of this emotional thing. My views honestly have changed on immigration a little bit though. I guess this will kind of be the first time I'm going to talk about this on stream. But I have, you know, I'm from Brazil. You know, I have a Brazilian family that lives here. And, you know, I immigrated here when I was 3 years old and I was legalized because even though my dad was Brazilian, he was an American citizen. So we were able to get legalized that way, me and my mom. But anyway, since then, you know, I've lived here, had opportunities, you know. That's why I have my views. I'm very conservative. I love America. This is the best country in my opinion, and there's a reason we came here. So, but I did have a friend of ours who lived in Brazil who actually came here, I guess, you know, on a travel visa and just decided to stay here and is going to try to get legalized, but obviously is doing it in an illegal way. And he actually stayed in my house for a little bit. And, you know, we split the rent, and even though it's not ideal for another person to live here, I was just wanted to help him out. And the reason he moved is because in Brazil, man, it's just like the privilege that someone who's lived in Brazil and that enjoys in America is just, not that we're crime free, but you don't have to worry.
Comparatively speaking, you don't live in a favela.
Yeah, exactly. It's even if you don't live in the favelas in Brazil, like road rage is so rampant there. I'll tell a quick story. My cousin who lives in a very nice part of Brazil, my uncle is very successful and lives like kind of like on the beach, like very, very successful. And his, so it's his son, my cousin. He was driving with his girlfriend one time, and I don't think I've told this story on stream before, but tell me if I have, classy or not. But he was driving in the streets, and road rage is so crazy there, and I don't know why it's like that here. There, I don't know why, or people are angrier, or I don't know what the fuck is going on. But like basically, he accidentally like cut off some guy like on a moped or motorcycle or something, and he pulled up to say sorry to the guy and was like, "Hey man, like my bad, I didn't mean to do that. Like, hey man, I'm sorry." Like he went to say sorry, and then the guy on the moped flashed like a machine gun at him, or like I don't know if a machine gun, but like a handgun. It was like, basically, no, I don't know the exact words, but basically said like, "Oh yeah, you're sorry. Like I'm gonna shoot you, motherfucker."
Something like that. Let's see.
Oh no.
He cut out again.
Oh no.
Right when he got to the good part.
Oh my god. At least we know his friend's still alive, but I need to know what happened. Oh my god.
Is my audio working?
It's like Sicario. It was like an episode of Sicario. It was like if Sicario he's back.
All right.
What happened?
What was the last thing I said?
He was in the car. The guy pulled out his gun. He was like, "I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker."
So yeah, basically so my cousin started driving away really fast and basically was driving for his life. He didn't know if the guy was going to shoot him, which does happen. Like people will kill each other over this shit. And he was like, fucking just Vin Dieseling it like Fast and Furious style, trying to get home. And luckily he made it home, and he lives in a building where the garage can open. And he went to the garage, and then the guy had no way to come in. And finally, when he got there, he was so relieved and so scared that he fainted. Like he passed out because he was literally driving for his life. And that's very common. That's very common in Brazil. So, and the next day he was all sore, like basically like his whole body was sore for the next couple of days because his body was thrashing to the side, trying to drive away and everything. So, it's crazy. And this family friend of ours that I'm telling you about, he had a similar experience. Basically, he showed me on his cell phone the security footage. He drive for Uber in Brazil, and he basically was robbed. He was carjacked.
Oh, you told that story.
Yeah, I told that story that he was on stream.
I don't know if it was on stream. It felt kind of recent though.
Yeah, I think I told you off stream, so I'll tell it on the stream now. But basically, this family friend of mine, he was had a gun pointed at him by these thugs, and was carjacked. Like, give me your car, and he stole his car, and he knew the guy that stole his car. He knew who it was, and so basically, he was stuck up in the front of his house for his car while his wife and his daughter were watching from the window above and couldn't do anything about it. Yeah, very crazy scene. So like I said, he knew who did it to him. So he broke into the house of the guy who stole his car and broke into his garage, stole his car back. And once the guy found out what had happened, he kind of put it like an alert out on the town and stuff that he was like going to kill him, and like had like a hit on him or something. Not a hit, but like was very upset. And he was so scared. Like, obviously this guy knows where he lives. So he decided to come here, and that's why he came. And, he's one of the hardest working dudes I've ever met. And he's, and he doesn't have job opportunities. He's illegal, but he works in Uber, he works in Lyft and makes good money because he's constantly grinding because he has a daughter, he has a family. And you have someone like that who's a positive member of society who and he's gonna try to file a case. He's gonna show the video because he downloaded it and try to apply for a green card and say, hey, this is what happened, this is why I came here, I basically had to run away because I don't know if this guy was gonna kill me or not. And something might go through. And then some people who are maybe in my audience or some people who know the things I talk about might, like, now after I've told that story, it will be like, what the fuck, like, you're helping an illegal person. And it's like, yeah, I mean, but it's not black and white, like, I'm supporting a criminal or something, and then there's people who say like, oh, well, if you come into the country illegally, you're a criminal already. I don't really believe that, because that we have to make the distinction of the illegals, like the illegal people usually coming from Mexico and stuff, who are criminals, get deported multiple times, come over anyway, they come back, and then they end up drunk driving and killing someone. And that's what Trump was out there too, with like the families of people who had their kids killed because of illegal immigrants and stuff. So there's kind of that emotional tirade of the story, and then there's the emotional tirade of families being separated from their kids. So there's so many layers to it. It's not just like a very simple thing. So I've been talking a lot. What do you guys think about that? Classy?
Well, I was gonna say, Classy, you hadn't said anything.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was just distracted by something. Sorry. You asked for my thoughts on what?
The immigration, just like every side is like so emotional and like.
No, I think I'm definitely with you here though. Like, I mean, I don't wouldn't say I'm open border or anything like that, but I'm pretty liberal when it comes to immigration issues. But I think there should be some restrictions where necessary. Like, for example, if a country has an epidemic of in terms of a disease or high level of terrorism, I think a temporary ban is reasonable. Definitely, we should do something to sort of decrease the amount of bad people, criminals trying to get into this country. I don't think a wall is going to solve that, but I would like to see something done. But I'm very sympathetic to illegal immigrants. I understand that, yeah, they broke the law and everything. Yes, but like some of them, I think like if they do pay taxes, or if they vaccinate their children, and if they do all, if they fit a certain criteria, I would be open to giving them some sort of pathway to citizenship.
Right.
I think that's actually realistically right. Not that I'm like a major in political science and immigration or anything. I don't mean to keep fucking with my camera. I'll do one more time. I think that's actually realistically like the best plan moving forward is to not necessarily, because by technicality and I guess definition, everybody is right to say that an illegal immigrant is a criminal because entering the country illegally is against the law. But we don't contextualize, somebody coming to the United States without learning the names of each president in each state and each state capital as the same as somebody who stabs somebody or robs somebody and rapes somebody. So it feels like a false equivalence to call, an illegal immigrant by definition tantamount to, a heinous criminal, somebody who commits an act of violence or criminal mischief that has a victim, right? Because essentially the victim in their crime is a tax hit. And I think realistically we can find measures to help people become citizens in a more realistic manner sooner, in an expedited way. It's like, I mean, honestly, sitting through, because I got a GED, right? So I had school separately at the big high school in town rather than the one actually close to me, and graduated in this like big hall, and half the people were like adult education GED people, and the other half were people that had just become citizens. And they had this big thing. We got diplomas. They got essentially green cards, but diplomas saying like, you qualified, now you get a green card. And the things that they had to go through. What one woman, she was from Egypt, and she was learning more about American history than I had, and I had gone to 11 years of school, right? Like I had gone all the way through being a junior in high school, almost a senior in high school, and then had just dropped out a couple of weeks before that, and she had to learn more about American history in order to become a citizen than I needed to learn as an American citizen. And then interesting questions about like cultural differences and things like that. Like the things for which they put the vast majority of people through really seems unnecessary. And where you could call some people lazy for not wanting to participate in it, when something's obviously unnecessary, people typically don't do well in it if they do even participate, right? You're either not going to participate because you think it looks like shit, or you're not going to do that well. And people get rejected all the time for visas that probably don't deserve to get rejected. They just get rejected on some shit technicality that we have in the law. It happens to MMA fighters all the time, that their families can't become citizens with them, Russian fighters specifically. Russians, for some reason, have a hard time getting citizenship in the United States, depending on what part of Russia they're from. These guys from Siberia, they're here in the United States. They're going to be here for the next maybe 10 years, fighting professionally, living in Las Vegas or wherever they live, Coconut Creek, Florida, whatever. And they got to fly back to Russia twice a year to see their family because they just cannot get visas here for XXX reasons. So we don't necessarily make it easy, but at the same time, like, open borders policies suck, and that's technically that's like as close to open borders policy as you could get. You got to turn some people back. You got to say, like, we have a quota, we have a max.
Yeah,
we can't take everybody that comes from everywhere.
I definitely believe that it should be a hard process. I mean, I've known people that, we saw in the video that, it takes many years. I know someone who it took 9 years, so another person who took 15 years. It is a tough process. It is very hard, and that's why it is rewarding, and you get all the benefits when it finally does happen. And then if you do kind of open it up too much, then the quality and the standard for everyone else takes a dip. Usually illegal immigration also is a disadvantage for the most poor members of society because they're going to occupy jobs and they're going to lower wages for when you have those jobs are supposed to be for lower income neighborhoods and things like that. So you definitely know the arguments on all sides, and it's just everyone is like it's so politicized and it's so like hyper emotional where if you like they had like one of the White House people, they were blaring like cries, the crying of kids who were detained or something. And
the NBA ran a 2-minute ad for all of their international players, and it was like, around here our players are immigrants. Like it's not just politicized, it's politicized and romanticized. Both sides have this thing where it's like, you would say, like, the farther right you go, the prettier we are as a country if you start removing current waves of immigrants from any country, right? Which maybe isn't necessarily true. Maybe look a little bit shittier than they might paint the country. But then on the other side, we don't look that shitty. Like we're not shooting people. We're not shooting the parents and telling the families, like, go back to Juarez, you dumbass. Good luck working for the cartels. Like, get out of here, little one. Go back to sewing soccer balls. Like that's not what we're. There's definitely some things that we could do better, but there's also some things that we're doing that like. I'm cutting out. Oh,
go ahead, Classy. Can we? Hey, Classy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, something's wrong with your connection, but you're good now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's just from my side. You guys go on.
I was just saying, there's definitely things we could be doing better, but there's definitely some things that are are basically as good as it's going to get, considering the size of the country we are and the number of people coming from assorted areas. Personally, I don't like to focus on the concept of like just Latin American, South American, Central American immigration. There's immigrants from a lot of places that make for a lot of problems.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say that sounded racist. What I mean is they cause a lot of problems logistically.
Yeah. I think Canada, like, they have an excellent immigration for a long time, and the U.S. started copying kind of Canada's very strict immigration policies, and then of course their Prime Minister Trudeau is criticizing Trump and America as if their immigration was, it's basically the ones that America was opting for. But the reason why theirs is so great is because it's a very long process. It's very arduous. It's very hard, and you have to show value. So if you go trying to get a green card or trying to get some way to get inside the country, you have to show that you're educated. You have to show that you work. You have to show that you're going to be able to pay taxes. You have to show that, obviously the more educated you are, the more likelihood you have a chance you have. If you can show, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to open a business? And, that's why you go there. There's tons of Asian immigrants, specifically Indians, Pakistani, Sikh immigrants, so many different, very diverse and very smart and very cool cultures that, I love going to Canada and seeing all the different cultures and stuff. And they're only taking in the very smart people, educated people. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy, it's a very different situation with Canada and the United States, because United States, I mean, we're right below. We have Mexico and Central America right below us. So it's a whole different thing. There's so many factors into it now. But Classy, are you good now, or can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you have your final thoughts on this before we move on?
Just it's a really complex issue. There's a lot we can talk about. I just wish, people would be a lot more nuanced. We don't have to have an open border policy.
Open border policy, like what? Yeah, I think
there's something wrong with connection.
Go ahead. Just start over. You said open border policy. What? Yeah, I think there's something up with his connection. It's all good.
Okay.
We'll continue here.
Okay.
So I wanted to cover this real quick here. Do you guys know about this guy, this rapper?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I only knew.
What up?
He died.
There's something up with your connection, Classy. So I'll let you just get that sorted real quick. But this is a new thing here. So XXS Tentacion, this rapper who I didn't even really listen to his music, but he was shot and killed, and he was 20 years old. Everyone's kind of mourning him and sharing their music and stuff. There's going to be a memorial Wednesday, June 27th at Florida Panther Stadium in Sunrise, Florida. It's going to be an open casket viewing, and no cameras and phones are permitted. So that's interesting. It's going to be an open casket. That's pretty creepy.
Those are never fun.
Have you been to an open casket?
Yeah. Actually, specifically, a family friend died when I was real young, probably like 7, 8 years old. And she didn't have an open casket. She was laid out on a marble slab with the silk veil over her whole body, laid out fucking in white robes, dude, and like the craziest cult-esque thing you'd ever seen in your life, man. And all right, so it's a steep ass stairs you got to walk down. So we start walking down these stairs, and I remember thinking, I stink right now. Like, I don't smell good. I remember thinking that when I first, but then as I get right up to it, it's just like this horrid smell of dead body. They may have done a poor job in protecting the body, because when we got up to it, you could smell the dead corpse. And it's this it's your neighbor, it's your family friend, like just laid out in the creepiest, eyes closed, half this like almost smile look. Oh my god, dude. And this dude's got fucking a tree tattoo on his forehead and shit. He's gonna be there. That's gonna be a weird one. He got shot in the neck too.
Yeah, he got shot in the neck, and like, you know, I've been talking to some friends about it. It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the reason why this happened is because he like he was on like Instagram Live and saying like just basically out and revealing everything he was going to do. He was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I got like 20 G's in my pocket. I'm gonna go buy a motorcycle." He's in his sports car, and then these people who were trying to rob him knew it because of social media, and then they ambushed him. And it is pretty freaking sad, but you know, you got to be careful, man. You can't really flaunt your stuff like that. Like I said,
yeah, there's a video of like in an example of that same thing. Fuck, what rapper was? Some rapper was live streaming out in like Oakland or something like that, and some dudes rolled right up to him and beat his ass and took his chain and his phone and started live streaming him trying to get up. And they're like, "No, you ain't doing shit." It's like a 20-minute live stream too. These dudes took his phone, took off on their sport bike and shit. It was crazy. All because he was live streaming it.
So they killed him, or what did they do?
No, they beat him up.
Okay.
Yeah. And somebody tried to fuck with Schoolboy Q too. One time Schoolboy Q was out in somebody's hood. He is lost, and he was on a hoverboard. And he was going through, he said, these niggas is following me. They followed him like 6 blocks or some shit like that. Till finally he turned around and showed off like he had a fucking gun on him, and they took off. It was like, oh my God. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, don't just be like willy-nilly getting lost.
I'm out in the hood where cops don't go anymore. Somebody help me find where I'm supposed to go. No, don't do that. Exactly. It's a dumb move, but it just sucks because it's a young person who isn't necessarily like, he's not a gangster rapper, you know what I mean? So he's not living that lifestyle and gets caught up in that type of shit. So that's the unfortunate thing.
Well, I'd say he was kind of in that lifestyle. Like, wasn't there like that? Like he would call people out and shit, and then like there was that, I saw that video like a couple months ago or maybe a year ago where he got like knocked out on stage or something.
Yeah, well, see, after he was accused and he currently on trial for beating the shit out of a woman, and then later beating up the witness that was supposed to testify against him as he was accused, people then escalated their dislike of him from their earlier preconceptions to now he's a, you know, an accused woman beater, an accused pregnant woman beater. So it wasn't necessarily that, like, what I mean is his content and like what he did in his day-to-day wasn't anything similar to like a gangster thug life. You know what I mean? His rap wasn't gangster rap. He participated in rap culture as far as like quote unquote bling, but comparatively speaking, there are a lot of dudes that like even Schoolboy Q, they rap the gangster life, they rap a gangster lifestyle, and for somebody to get clipped that isn't that, whose songs aren't like, I'm the hardest dude on the block, you know what I mean? It's just unfortunate.
Oh yeah. I mean, most of those rappers, they don't live that life, and it's all kind of like a facade. But Classy, are you back with us, or your internet?
Yeah, I'm here.
You have internet problems?
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did you hear about the XXX Tentacion being killed?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I don't really have much to say other than some people have been talking about how he's been assassinated by some other rapper. Is my audio okay?
Yeah, you're fine. Now it's way better.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we'll move on. I think that's just very interesting, and when it happened, I honestly couldn't believe it. And whatever, you know, hopefully, you know, I'm a huge fan of hip hop and rap, and there's kind of like a whole beef culture. I don't think this was a beef thing. Fortunately, this wasn't kind of like a Tupac Biggie thing, but you know, it is what it is. So we got 2 more stories here, guys. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Thank you so much, Critical Unbeliever. You've been an awesome guest, despite some internet issues we've been having here. 2 more stories here. So this one here, I guess I want to get you guys' take on it. So, why FlyFit's Love Handle Island ad campaign is so toxic and harmful. So basically, someone took a picture of this. It's like a bus advertisement. You know, you see like on bus stops. It says, "Escape Love Handle Island. Stay hot this summer." AIF, or I think they're advertising something, will keep you fit. So someone took a picture of this and said, and was kind of upset. So it says, "Folks, it's summertime. That can only mean one thing. It's time for companies to seize upon your insecurities and make you feel a bit rubbish about yourself." Earlier this week, FlyFit, a chain of low-cost gyms with branches across Dublin, unveiled this campaign to coincide with Love Island Mania. So this is kind of like in Ireland. It's like a reality show that collaborated with these gyms. So it says here, while FlyFit's ad is not as grossly as offensive as other ones, it nonetheless strikes judgmental tone and reinforces corrosive ideas about body image and obsessive fitness culture. It's
this person is complaining that a gym is promoting fitness culture.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but yeah, I mean that's the point, right? So. It says here, the ad's tagline suggests love handles are inherently undesirable or somehow incompatible with summer. This is of complete rubbish, of course. Love handles are nothing to be ashamed of and certainly should not be regarded as something to liberate yourself from. Irish summers are too brief, fleeting to spend time worrying about them. Flaunt your love handles and get that vitamin D, girl. The ad also equates thinness with virtue by featuring just one body type. It ignores the reality that there's no one size that fits all. Just because you aren't conveniently thin doesn't mean that you aren't attractive. It also doesn't mean that you're a work in progress who just hasn't gone to the gym enough. You can be fat, thin, short, tall, broad, slender, muscular, soft, able-bodied, or disabled and still be healthy. So that's kind of my objection. It's like, no, that's not true. You can't be fat and be healthy. You can't be, slender and be healthy. No, like there is, I mean, I guess you can, but like.
You can't be anorexic or severely underweight and be healthy.
Yeah. Right. But that's the thing, is that gyms specifically exist to sell you the idea that every weight is not the great weight, and the only weight that you should ever be is the one that you get by going to our gym. However you look sucks. Come to my gym and you'll look better. That's like the whole point of gyms. That's what, if you she's just pointed out that they're marketing that they want people to go to their gym because they don't like the way they look. That's literally the point of gyms.
Yeah. I mean, the point of it is for you to work out and stuff. Let me just finish through this so I can see you guys real quick. More worrying are repeated references to hotness. Exercise is a positive thing. It has myriad benefits and should be encouraged where possible. What shouldn't be encouraged, however, is the notion of hotness as the ultimate reward for exercising, especially when hot is used as shorthand for thin. Instead of imploring people to stay hot, we should be encouraging people to stay active for their health and well-being, not sending a message that you aren't lovable if you don't have razor-sharp abs. FlyFit prides itself on accessibility. It's affordable. It has branches all over the city. It's disappointing that they would consciously choose to send an exclusionary message. After all, gyms and exercise can be intimidating enough without sending a message that could potentially put people off for fear of not being welcomed, or worse, looked down upon for having tummy rolls. Summer is a time of year when self-esteem can get rocky. Instead of preying on these insecurities in the hopes that they will join your gym, it should be refreshing if the likes of FlyFit could employ a body-positive approach to their marketing. one that doesn't demonize love handles or relegate fat people to before photos, but instead shows that exercise is for everyone and not only for losing weight.
Exercise is literally only for people that want to lose weight or change the way their body looks.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck?
I always find these things interesting. I've talked about a lot about this before. I've actually made a video called Why Fat Shaming is Good. And basically it's a video where when I first started making videos and I was kind of overweight and people were like talking shit about me, and it was kind of like a couple months later and I had lost weight and I reacted to the comments and I was saying, hey guys, fat shaming is good. Like I saw these comments and I felt bad about myself. And I didn't go and like get depressed. And that's not the sole reason, obviously, but like those are the things that like motivate you. Like when you're running, like I got really into jogging, like I love jogging. And it's not just to, yeah, like it feels good, like it's awesome to do and everything. However, yeah, the point is to lose weight. The point is to be healthy, to look good. Like that, anything that's worthwhile is going to be hard. There's going to be, you know, they try to say like, oh yeah, well, you know, everyone is healthy at every size. You know, they don't want you to judge people's body types, even though people clearly like will have a body type that, yeah, you're not healthy and you're not working out. And now they have the body positive movement that tries to tell them like, hey, it's okay to be this way, and they want to change their feelings when it comes to feeling that way. But the truth is, most fat people, if you go and talk to them, they're gonna say like, hey, like I don't want to be fat. Like I'd rather not try to bullshit myself and convince myself that it's a good thing. I'd rather actually not be this way. If they could all take a pill that they would look different and feel different with just a pill, like they would all take it. No one's gonna be like, oh no, I'm body positive. I don't need that shit. Like no, they're gonna do it. But it requires hard work and it requires dedication. And you know, this whole thing now, like everything is criticized. Like, oh yeah, we have this. We have they have this reality show and they have a whole bunch of like good looking people here. The women are fit and healthy and full. The men, you know, look muscular and stuff. And they're not it's like, oh, this is exclusionary. We got to have people of all body types. And it's like, it's an ever going conversation now. And, it's just interesting, their comments that they say where it's like, we need to employ a body positive approach to marketing. We can't demonize love handles. Like, yeah, we should demonize love handles. That means you're eating shit. That means you're not eating right. Like, we should demonize it. It's okay to demonize that. Why are you telling us not to demonize it? It's just
right. My perspective has always been like, I don't necessarily give a shit. Some people are fat and some people aren't fat, and I don't necessarily care. What I think is interesting is that some people think that you have to care. You have to care that some people are fat or some people are skinny, and to add on to that, you also have to be mad that other people think that maybe fat people shouldn't be fat. Like I don't necessarily care. What I understand how gyms work. I understand how their marketing works, and this is in this case, you have a show that's based on like some type of specialized type like idea, right? This is a certain type of person participates on this show. So the opposite person is going to complain about it, which is going to be true for any show. If you have a show that's the Christian reality show, everybody on there is Christian. You're going to get atheists that are like, well, why aren't there any atheists on there? You're going to get Jews that are like, why aren't there any Jews on there? You're going to get Muslims that say, aren't there any Muslims on there, right? So, of course, if you have a show where everybody is supposed to be fit, you're going to get fat people or not so fit people bitching about it. But what gets me is that rather than saying, I dislike this marketing that I do all the time, right? I bitch about marketing all the time. Rather than saying, I dislike this marketing and I would rather have seen a different ad. They say, I dislike this marketing, so I perceive this organization to be a terrible organization. They don't ascribe to the same laurels, the same sensibilities that I have, so they're bad people. Like who gives a shit, right? The gym's advertising is come to my gym because you're fucking fat. And if you don't like it, well then don't go to that gym. Go to the gym that says come to my gym because you're healthy at every weight. I'm sure that gym exists. There's there's a place for you somewhere. Stop bitching that some places aren't for you, or that you think some places aren't for you. Because I tell you right now, I don't think there's a gym in the world that's going to be like, you know what, you're too fat to come here. You're too fat to spend $98 a month to get overpriced service from weight machines and be around weight machines that you're never going to use. You're too fat for that. You're too fat for your credit card to come into my wallet. Sure.
Right, exactly. And yeah, there is a gym. There's a gym called Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. It used to be. There's one called Curves back in the day too. Don't worry, ladies. You're not trying to get fit. You're not trying to get healthy. Come out to Curves. You run for a little bit, go back home, tell your friends and family, go to the gym. You fit in.
Yeah, like Planet Fitness too. Like they make it this thing where it's like people, like the guys can't wear like string shirts and like
no grunting.
They have like the lunk alarm where if like you slam your weights, they like push this alarm and stuff, and it's like, you know, it's kind of like on this same thing, like this.
Oh, you can't work out too hard, like you can't grunt.
You can't grunt, yeah.
Imagine the opposite of that, where they show where you're working out at a gym, right? You just go in your fucking normal set, and they come up and press a button. Buzz, this motherfucker isn't working hard enough. Hey, everybody, look at this fat fuck not trying hard enough. Everybody, look at the fat fuck. You'd be like, dude, what the hell? But in this case, this gym's motto is that their mission statement is that, you know what? We fucking hate people that are in shape. We're gonna in shape shame them as soon as they show up. Hey, bud, you did 24 squats today, 400 pounds. Get the hell out of here.
Right. Yeah, they do kind of shame like people who are fit, because it's like they go out. Yeah, they want to basically make this environment where you have some fat people who are like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want people to like look at me and stare at me. And granted, like, the problem is most people, like, they think too much of themselves, and it's like no one goes to the gym to like look at like I never go to the gym and I see like an extremely overweight person and like I'm like looking like like look at that fat spot.
Normally, like you go to the gym, you're just focusing on your own exercises, your sets and whatnot.
What are you guys talking about? I only go to the gym to laugh at people that weigh 192 pounds. I weigh 191. You weigh 192. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking double lard. Oh, God.
And it's not just about weight either. I mean, guys, dudes that are growing up, maybe they're skinnier than their counterparts. You know, they get like shamed because they're not big enough. They want to get bigger. They want to have more muscle and stuff. And a lot of frames on a lot of dudes out there, they're not meant to carry a lot of muscle or have a lot of muscle. And then they get shamed for that. And that's something that they get insecure about. It's just a very complex thing with body image, and with, I feel like too, like with there's relationships with food, you know, like I've been starting intermittent fasting. Like I'm like fasting for the most of the day. Like I don't eat anything until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day. So all I do is just drink water in the morning, and it's kind of like changing my relationship with food. And like I'm not hungry in the mornings anymore. That time in the morning I used to get hungry and was lightheaded, but I got used to it, and I use that hunger like in my workouts, where it's like yeah, man, you don't deserve to eat. Like you need to like push yourself and like crush this workout, and then that's when you can reward yourself with like some good food or whatever, or like just a fucking meal. And you have to you got to discipline yourself. You know, it's all about discipline. You know, it's just, you know, if you do what's hard, then your life will be easy. If you do what's easy, then your life will be hard. You know, it's easy to not work out. It's easy to just eat whatever you want, play video games, not have any active lifestyle. But then later on, you're going to be fat. You're going to not like yourself. You're not going to have a good self-esteem. You're not going to feel good about yourself too. When you work out, you know, people, I think it's like they've had like a recent study or something that showed that exercising regularly was a more effective way to like reduce depression than actual like medication or something like that. which like I don't know if that's the exact thing. I have to look it up, but something to that effect. And it's true. It's like if you're working out, like when I have a fucking bomb ass workout, I feel so good about myself. I feel like accomplished. I feel like when you're like I like to get to that point where like you work out so hard to where like you enjoy the rest. Like your body's aching and my fucking legs are aching from today still, but I'm like, yeah, I feel good. Like I feel like, I never go work out or go running and then regret that I did it. You usually regret that you don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's what people need to understand. And like, if you need motivation, like I listen to music, like I put some headphones on and fucking just blast some motivational music, hip hop, rap, rock, just something to get me in the mood. And there's all different things you can try. And this thing that they're trying to do is, with body positive and everything, they're trying to appeal to the people who it's too hard for them to work out, or like they don't have a good relationship with food. I feel like now in America, like, we don't know what foods to eat. We're eating the wrong shit. It's not all our fault either. Like these companies, like the sugar industry, somehow has found a way to put sugar in everything. There's sugar in tomato sauce. There's sugar in crackers, like in everything there's sugar. And sugar is essentially why people are fucking overweight and obese. It's not, the vegans will tell you it's meat and dairy. No, it's not. Other people will tell you it's other things. Honestly, it's all about sugar. That's it.
Absolutely.
Right. So
I mean,
I would only push back to say there's a lot of assorted arguments for different dietary issues that can be classified as obesity or overweightness. But sugar is one of the contributing factors for a lot of people.
Right. I just think it's like, I mean, if you look at the, statistics of like people's weight over time and stuff, like I think they just released, that women now are officially on average heavier than a man was on average, like back in the 60s and stuff. And we are getting like people on average are getting, overweight and like they're fuller and like, they're obese and stuff. And when you look at the correlation, a lot of it has to do with the sugar industry. The sugar industry back in the day, there was documents that was released showing how I had this in my vegan debate with Red Pill. The sugar industry was shown back in the day that they like forged these like studies. So these like nutrition scientists basically fucked up the food pyramid, and that's why they have bread and pasta and grains as like, oh yeah, you should, they taught you that in school, like you should be eating most of that. You should be eating most of that in your diet, and then as you go up in the pyramid, it's like less and less of this stuff, right? And they had all this bread and pastas and stuff. It's like no, that's why people are fat. Like that shit will fucking make you fat. Like that is what's bad. And then they demonize cholesterol, like with eggs and stuff. Eggs is like the best thing you can eat. And then like like Weight Watchers now, they finally removed eggs off of the like there's no points anymore for eggs and stuff, even though there used to be before. So there's been a lot of deception in what we think is healthy and what we've been taught. And it's not at any fault of our own. It's just what we've been taught in schools from these industries. And then, money talks. If they want to sell something, they will make something seem, not as bad as it should be. So.
Yeah, a lot of that's like correlative arguments. I would again say like there's a lot of contributing factors to bad diets, to poor diets. But also if you're talking about like large scale studies that look at humans over the course of 50 to 100 years, you frequently see large changes in both height and weight. Right, people tend to get taller and fatter over the course of about 50 to 60 year periods. That, especially within the last 200 years or so. So it's not it shouldn't be a surprise to see different groups of people in different areas, specifically in the West, become larger than they were statistically from now, from the 70s. That shouldn't be too big of a surprise. In a lot of cases, we look at diet as a certain specific thing, but realistically, there are different body types. If you go to a gym, You'll see things like endomorph and things like that. There's different body types, and to gain and lose weight for either body type, for the assorted body type, requires different things, and an appropriate diet for either body type or different body types also requires different things. Now, not necessarily anything's going to include 1,000 Twinkies a day, but there are plenty of things that are going to include only certain meats, and there are going to be plenty of things that include never any meats. It really depends. There's a lot of dietary misinformation that most of it's based on like conspiracies revolving around different industries, but there's a lot of truth to mass consuming of specialized food groups leading to certain dietary issues, for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think too that everyone's different. It's exactly what you're saying. Everyone's gonna have a different body type. They're gonna react to something. You know, a vegan diet might work for someone, and it might not work for another person. A ketogenic diet might work for someone, might not. You know, might not work for others. You know, me, like something that's helped me is cut out a lot of carbs, cut out a lot of sugars and stuff, which I think is good for, I'd say, most people, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some people, yeah, they have to eat bread and they have to eat that stuff. But, you know,
yeah, especially when you talk about diets, you have to assess for other body types. Like a Danish person, right, or a Swedish person might end up being 6'5" and 240 just naturally, right? Yeah. That they visually could come out to a fat person, where if they go to a doctor be like, your blood pressure's fine, your heart's fine, your body's fine. But then there are people that 240 pounds is going to be like 240 pounds on me is going to be bad. 240 pounds on someone like my stepdad, doctor's like, good, don't lose weight because you'll be unhealthy. Don't gain weight either. So assorted body types and how you get to those things matter too. Yeah. But the BMI is a bit of meh. I mean, I could go on a little bit about the BMI, but there's definitely a bit of misinformation involved with the mass consuming of specialized products, for sure.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Classy?
Well, just we shouldn't bully fat people, but we should do everything we can to encourage healthy lifestyle. That includes eating.
Here's the thing. So if kids that grow up fat, you will be bullied. Like, no matter any campaigns out there that tell people not to bully, and even if you're not fat, I mean, I was bullied because I was hairy. Like, I had all these Asian kids in my middle school, and they had no body hair, and I had like arm hair and stuff, and they would like make fun of me. And it was very annoying. Like, I had a very tough time, and I actually shaved my arms, and then I shaved my arms because I was tired of being bullied, and then they bullied me even more. They're like, "Oh, you shaved your arms or whatever." Like,
of course,
yeah. And I'm like, I can't win with you motherfuckers, so whatever. I just learned to just whatever.
I know girls that were bullied for having big tits back in like middle school and high school. And some of those same girls became women what had boob jobs to get boobs at least as big as those women for which they made fun of. But you're just gonna get bullied. I'll fucking kill every single fat person I see out in the street. Just get that noted. I carry a gun, and if I see a person that weighs even 2 pounds more than me, I will shoot you.
No. But my point is that we should encourage a healthy lifestyle, and when it comes to like overeating or being fat, that's something that shouldn't be encouraged.
We shouldn't
gas them. That's what I'm trying to say.
We definitely should encourage healthy lifestyles, and that's what some people try to do, like with this gym campaign and stuff, and then they're ostracized, they're criticized, like, oh, you're believing in fitness culture and it's toxic, and it's like, no, get out of here. So but yeah, that's all about do you guys have time for one more story?
I can do one more, absolutely.
Cool. I know it's a little earlier for you there. You still got daylight outside.
Dog, it's 8:17 and it looks like it's noon out here right now. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe Space Force kicked in and turned on the sun forever.
Yeah.
This is my future now.
Yeah, over here it stays pretty light until like usually like 9 o'clock, or like 8:30. Yeah. So, All right, so this is a pretty interesting story here. This will be the final story of the night. Yeah.
When I was 12 and the facial hair started growing, I just thought I was weird. Now that I finally let go of, that hatred and everything, my confidence has skyrocketed.
Yours is better than mine. I'm fucking mad jealous.
I'll see if I can skip ahead because I can't show all.
I haven't had one in 10 years. I grow the excess facial hair, the body hair. It depends on the person and the specific amount of hormonal imbalance, but this is what it causes me. When the hair first started growing, I was completely miserable. I felt like a reject. I felt disgusting. Like, girls aren't supposed to grow facial hair. Why was I at such a young age? So I felt really, really awful about it.
She looks like the guy that lives on the couch in that show, Broad City. He looks like the one girl's roommate in that show, Broad City.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to look that up.
Teenager, when this first started happening, I did get bullied a bit. I had some kid, commenting about how I was going to have more facial hair than him. And there were girls who would make fun of my body hair. I was afraid to go to sleepovers. I was afraid of people touching my face, finding out that I had this issue at all. I shaved from the age of 12 until the age of 26. So it was very much a part of my normal routine to just keep doing it. And I saw no reason to stop. As I got older and I made more friends who I knew are, good and accepting people. And, I was with my partner for, more and more time. I still continued to hide the facial hair, the body hair and everything, just because I personally felt disgusted by it. I wouldn't let my partner touch my face at all. I was very self-conscious about anyone touching my face at all or any of my body, really. I just felt like people would be disgusted in the way that I was personally.
I didn't have any negative feelings because it's not something you can help, but like it can be treated, but it's nothing really hurtful or bad, really. I mean, besides the cysts.
I wanted to do No Shave November specifically because, it does benefit a cause. It raises awareness for men's cancers. I might as well do it in a period of time where it benefits somebody just besides me.
That's actually pretty goddamn cool that like she lives with this fucking fear and this of the fact that she has a hormonal imbalance. It makes her look just like a tranny. It just makes her look like a bad tranny, a bad cross-dresser, a dude that's bad at being a tranny is what she looks like. But she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna let that keep the fact down that I can do something to support a good cause that doesn't do anything to support her issue. It has nothing to do with her medical issue at all. She's like, I'm going to grow my fucking facial hair out, this embarrassing goddamn thing, so that we can help raise awareness for the fact that some men get cancer in their ass. That's pretty valiant, actually. I will actually give her a check mark for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know about that. I was just going to react to this and, it's a fucking tough deck of cards you've been dealt as a female and you got a beard. Like, you got guys who want beards and they don't get it. They get upset. Women, obviously, women don't want any facial hair, body hair, and then she's dealt with this. It's a fucking tough draw of the deck, but she's rocking it, and you gotta respect that. I'd say
it's a good beard.
Yeah, she's got a good beard.
I felt rebellious, so I was terrified, but at the same time, I felt kind of like increasingly more liberated from my own personal hell, basically. I put myself through so much torture, and now I'm finally letting go of it. So it felt terrifying, but incredible at the same time.
She started the No Shave November. I thought it was interesting. It was neat seeing how fast it grew in and how full, but also seeing how her confidence grew over the course of the months.
It's hard to not laugh. It's just hard to not laugh.
It's weird. Sorry. Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Honestly, she's still Nova. She's still my girlfriend. So.
My confidence is extremely, just overwhelmingly intense now that I've done this. Now that I've finally let go of, that hatred and everything. I feel like, I can do more in the world. I can do more to help people. I can do more to help myself. I can make other people happy. I can make myself happy. It's mind-blowing, the response that I've gotten. I didn't expect to have people in the hundreds personally messaging me, thanking me for doing this. People who needed to see someone who has an issue like they have. So it's been a really rewarding experience. I do love it, and I love it on myself. I love how it looks. It's interesting. It keeps my face warm when it's freezing. It's been a blessing for me.
Fucking A. I mean, fucking right on, though. Like, you get dealt a certain card in life, and you just gotta, or a certain hand in life, and you just gotta play it, man.
Yeah, like that's a pretty inspirational thing with this girl. Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know what to expect when I was gonna react to this and show this to the viewers and stuff, but I just have tons of respect. I mean, you can't really hate on anything. I mean, as long as she's happy, seems like she's happy. She's got a partner, a girlfriend. I mean, wow. I mean, that should be a lesson for a lot of people out there. And then you get to have a beard.
Yeah. Just because you ain't quote unquote normal doesn't really mean shit so much to a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, I like to say, there's a lid to every pot. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's got to love you for who you are. Maybe not if you're like a pedophile. That's probably hard to find. There's not like a Tinder for pedophiles, luckily. But there's there's probably going to be somebody willing to deal with your thing. It actually raises an interesting question because it's a lesbian dating somebody that grows a beard, which is something typically men find or typically men have. It's like it's interesting to see that doesn't cause like the lesbian partner any issues. Just like whatever, who cares?
Yeah. Any thoughts, Classy?
No, just that it's great that she's embracing her beard, and it's nice that she's using it to support a good cause. So.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting video that I just was very curious to get your guys' thoughts on. So. Yeah, it's very interesting. But yeah, if you guys don't have any final thoughts, that's pretty much the last story that I had for us to go over, or a little video for us to react to. So thank you, Critical Unbeliever, for joining us tonight. I definitely would love to have you back. You're definitely a very fruitful guest.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh man, it's an honor. And so yeah, any final thoughts, guys?
Nope.
Nothing really. Alrighty then, thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you guys enjoyed the stream, make sure to like the stream. I'm going to be uploading some videos from this stream as well. That's going to be like the MO going forward now. I'm kind of making content from these streams. So definitely make sure to like the video, guys, if you enjoyed it. Join us again next week. I'm probably going to have a different, we're having different guests every week. I usually kind of don't reveal it ahead of time because then if it doesn't go through, then I don't want to disappoint you guys. But we got some interesting guests coming up. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Please make sure to like the stream again, and I will catch you guys next week.
Cool.